Thank you for clicking on my channel, and thank you for clicking on this video. Before we get started, I want to go ahead and just introduce myself a little bit. And if you don't know me, my name is Dan Burrell. I've been a software trainer now for the last 20 years. I was associated with Patterson Eaglesoft for 14 of those years, and I now work on my own. So I have no association with Patterson whatsoever, but I do keep up with the new updates. And the reason that I've created this video and the reason I've created other videos is because of what I want to do for your practice and the way I want to help you understand the software better. So with that in mind, I'd like to get to my computer and go ahead and show you the new features of Eaglesoft 21. Okay, so now that we're in my computer, we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at the new features guide for Eaglesoft version 21. And I'm going to help you, and I'm going to tell you at the end of this video if this upgrade is worth it or not. Also, before we start, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so that you can get future Eaglesoft training videos, and click on the notification bell so that you'll be notified when that happens. And also, if you like the content of this video, please give me a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. So this is version 21, and what we're going to do here is we're going to go through the guide that they have sent us. So it's going to give us an introduction and a breakdown of all the enhancements and features that are included in version 21. So what happens with a lot of Eaglesoft users is the problem with obviously the end of day, the end of month, and the end of year. They need to be done at a specific time, or you can do it the next day and just change a setting, which I'll show you a little further into the video. But what this does, it automates this whole process now. So you don't have to sit around and wait to do it. You can set it for, let's say, 6 o'clock in the evening, and it will automatically do your end of day. So that's a really, really nice feature. So what happens here is that if you're on the front desk version of the program, you can go to the tabs up at the top, and under activities, you're going to have a process end of period button. And you can go ahead and you can choose your day summary, your month summary, and your year summary. So with that, we can go ahead and we can start looking at how to change those settings. So let's say that we click on the process end of period button, and we go to the settings tab here. The end of day, the end of month, and the end of year have to be done by somebody who has the ability to do that within the program. So that kind of makes sense. So with that in mind, the primary user is going to typically be the doctor or the administrator or whoever has administrative rights within the program. That would resolve a tremendous amount of issues due to the fact that if you do not have a chosen primary user here, or if you've picked one that does not have access to doing the reports, it ain't going to be done. It's really, really quite simple. The secondary user is going to be somebody else, and they're going to get notified that the reports are being done. Also, under the system settings here, you can also save your backups. So what that means is that I can go ahead and it will automatically back my reports up on your server or wherever you tell it to back up. And you can save how many end of days, how many end of months, and how many end of years. So one of my biggest pet peeves is the waste of resources that we call paper. Paper, ink, and printing, to me, is just, it's 2020. You're going to do a backup of your data anyway. So if you ever need those reports, you have the ability to go ahead and look at those reports, or you can even send them to the CPA, and they don't have to deal with paper. So with that in mind, I would truly set this up so that you do not have to worry about it. Now, I will give you a word of warning. In order for the scheduled end of period to properly run, please set your Windows power options on your Eaglesoft server to never put the computer to sleep. And you can find those instructions on how to do that right here on the FAQ 13738. So what that means is if the computer is shut off, or if the Eaglesoft database server is shut down, you will not be able to process your end of day. So if you were ever in any of my trainings, I've always referred to the server as Mom. Mom never sleeps. The kids can take a nap, they can do all they want, but they always go running to Mom to get the information. The other thing I've always said, if there's a fire or a flood and you only have a chance to save one computer, grab Mom, because she can always have more kids. So with that in mind, make sure that your settings are set properly in your Eaglesoft server so that so that you will have access to that at all times when it's trying to do a backup. For those people who have the dual databases, when setting it up, make sure that when you're doing your primary and your secondary databases, it says here about 5 minutes apart. I would actually give it a little bit more time in case your backup takes a little longer to do. And I would actually probably even suggest 15 minutes, but Eaglesoft says 5, so we can certainly do that. Okay? So by going to the end of day button now, I have the ability to create or set my end of day scheduling. So what that means is that I can come in here and change what time that my backup is being done. Now, there is a summary also that's really nice, and it'll tell you when the last time a backup was done or an end of day was done. So that's pretty cool at one glance. So with the end of day scheduling, you have the ability here to go ahead and pick every day that you actually work and what time you normally want to do your end of day. My suggestion, 6 p.m. If you're in the office past 6, then you can go ahead and you can run it manually, but most offices that I know of are usually closed by 5. And a little note here is that if there is no procedures that were put into the program, an end of day will not be done. So if, let's say, for example, you are closed on Monday and you have told this that you were going to do a backup at 6 o'clock on Monday evening, and there were no procedures put in on that day, it would not do an end of day. You also have the ability to customize your time frame. So customized days allows the end of day to be processed on a specific day and time of the week. So what that means is that you can come in here and you can pick a specific day. So perfect example is the month of February, which we're in. Then we only have 28 days in February this month, if I'm not mistaken. I think it might be 29, I'm not sure, but you can go in and you can actually pick a day and set it with time. Or maybe on Fridays or Thursdays you only work half a day. You can go in and you can change that on specific days. All right. What it will also do, it will also update late payment plans, meaning that it will move that person from the 0 to 30, the 30 to 60, the 60 to 90, and the 90 plus based on what day you're running the report. Okay? So like I mentioned before, and they put it here again, for a scheduled end of day to process, the database engine must be running, and it needs to have something processed. If there was nothing processed during that day, then it's not going to run. It's got another little note here that if you have it where it goes to sleep or powers off, it's not going to run. So again, if mom's sleeping, then the kids really can't do anything. To process the end of day manually, you have the option to go in and actually click on the Run Manually button. And you can also run it through your process end of day icon right from the front desk. Picking the reports will automatically stay there, and it'll be up and running for the next time that you do your end of day. Your end of month, same process. You click on the end of month button, end of month scheduling, same thing. And here, as a note, as with a normal end of month, at least one end of day must be processed since the last end of month in order to schedule a month to process. You have the ability, again, to change and pick a specific day that you want to run your end of month. For your end of month here, what they talk about is, do you want to save your reports to go into the Practice Smart Doc when the end of month is processed, regardless of if they have it selected to print or not. So what that means is that you have the ability in your Smart Doc section to set all the reports to go to directly to the practice Smart Doc. Again, it's just a huge paper saver. The other issue is that those files actually get backed up. And so you have accessibility to all of those reports without having to carry file boxes, storage units, anything of that sort. As long as your backup is working properly, you are safe. The end of year, same thing. End of year scheduling, end of year processing. Okay? Again, they all get saved to the practice Smart Doc. I've been teaching people how to do this for years as far as saving paper and reports. So you also have the ability not to schedule it. I don't see why anybody would do that, but obviously the option is there. You also have the ability to set a printer if you want to. The activity log will tell you when things were done, what was processed, and you can certainly take a look at that under your utilities menu in your front version or front desk version of the program, and you can certainly see your system activities there. Next, we're going to talk about what Auto SDS integration is, and it's a management system that keeps your safety data sheet requirements up to date and easily accessible. So what this is the ability to actually send your data to a URL, a specific URL, and it is designed for insight practices. So you would have to go ahead and obviously talk to support about getting this set up. And obviously, if you have nothing to do with it, then I would not worry about it. The next one, though, is a big question that I get asked about all the time, and that is the brand new AES 256 encryption. So the encryption, what that is the ability to make your database completely encrypted, meaning you're not able to open it unless you have a specific password in a specific program. So with that, they're saying, hey, go ahead and let's talk about that if you have that desire to encrypt your database more than it already is. So with that in mind, I want to talk a little bit about, do I think version 21 is worth it? Of course I do. Just the ability to be able to automate the end of day, end of month, end of year processes so that you don't have to be there. Again, a big plus. Kudos to Eaglesoft for this update. Also, as I mentioned, The fact that you can set it up where it's doing a backup and you don't have to print the paper, I am on that big time. I mentioned a couple of things that I was going to say at the very end of the video. There are two things. Number one is if you are not testing your backup, meaning if you don't have Eaglesoft in a separate laptop that's not part of the office, doctors, if you have an extra laptop at home or even pick one up, then my suggestion would be to work with your IT person and be able to automatically download and access your database so that at least once a month you can test it and make sure that it's backing up everything properly. The time to make sure your backup is working is not when something serious has happened. So with that in mind, I just call it taking a vitamin. If you double click and check and make sure that your database is being backed up properly, the day that you're going to need it is the day that you're going to be happy that you've been verifying that it's working. Secondly, I just want to mention this. If you are having difficulty using Eaglesoft, and it's been a very long time since you've had training, or you've never had training, there will be a link in the description to my Eaglesoft training video program. As I mentioned in the intro, I've been a trainer with Eaglesoft now for the last 20 years. I am not associated with Patterson or Eaglesoft any longer, but I do feel that there is a great need for this type of training. The training is the price of what it would cost you for 2 days of live training with a trainer, but you would have access to my training for the whole year for the whole team. So go ahead and look at the description and click on that and sign up today. I actually have a deal going on for the month of February till I actually finish the training program, and I think it would be very beneficial for you and your practice. So with that in mind, I want to thank you for your time, and I want to thank you for being part of my channel. I appreciate you so very much. Have a wonderful day.